Welcome back everyone to the channel. Challenger Cup Season 2 have just started. 50 tournaments coming our way for Season number 2, and the first 2 have already taken place this weekend. And we will have to explain some changes to the system first of all, because last season we had so many cups, and in the smaller cups you could win like sleeves and jackets, play mats, all those kind of cool things, which are still going to be there. That does not change. But there was also one big tournament, 2048 players, where you could win a gaming PC, PlayStation 5 and all that kind of stuff. And this is not going to be there this season. But instead, we are going to have a leaderboard. Every single Challenger Cup can now earn you points when you top it. And the top performing 128 players after the entire second season are going to be invited to play out a big finale. And yeah, they're going to play for a gaming PC there. So it's going to be just the top competition at the end of the season, battling it out. I really like that, because that incentivizes players to even grind harder this time, to really play all those Challenger Cups. Competition will be really intense, really hard, because even in the small Challenger Cups, it will matter to earn those points to actually get you invite into the big finale. So I really like that change. I think that's a cool addition to the competition. And on the left, you can already see how the leaderboard is looking after the first 2 tournaments. First place, Mounty, and non-surprisingly, he won the bigger of the 2 Challenger Cups this weekend. He won the 256-player Challenger Cup by far on Saturday, and DJ came second in that, DJ Vitelio, and then Fansha was the one winning the 128-player Challenger Cup by Vince on Sunday. But yeah, also something that I want to mention is Esquire in 6th place actually topped both of those Challenger Cups. So maybe somebody to keep an eye on. Seems to be very consistent when he's already topping the first 2. But yeah. First of all, I want to say, if you enjoy the Master Duel content here on the channel, if you want to see more of those analyses, definitely make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment saying that you like it under this video. And we will look into the metagame breakdown, for the Fafra Challenger Cup. Shoutouts to Fafra for providing us with the data here. And as we said, it was the bigger of the 2 Challenger Cups taking place this weekend. And out of the top 16 decks, we had 10 Ishizu Telements. Obviously the best deck of the format, we knew that before we saw that graphic, but I honestly expected it to be even a little bit higher, because this deck seems to be everywhere. Everybody, like every single one of the top players, is agreeing that this is just the deck to beat, so it would feel like everybody will also play that deck in top competition now. But there were still some other decks. There's 2 Exosisters, which is now apparently the second strongest deck in the room. Dragon Lake, Pendulum Magician, Rika, and Sprite. Sprite, pretty interesting. I expected Sprite to be in 2nd spot or something, but Exosister, of course, more of an exact counter option to Ishizu tier, so I do understand it somewhat. But let's get into the first deck list of the day. Mounty, as I said earlier, won the 256-player Challenger Cup by far, and he did so by, in Swiss, mostly piloting the Melfi Sprite deck. And this deck instantly reminds me of Dinkang Pham, who basically invented 2 of those versions that are combined in this deck for the TCG for Sprite. There is, first of all, the version that he played back in the Ishizu Telements days, where he was running the End of Anubis in the main deck, which he could special summon out with Mannequin Cat. We see that here, End of Anubis, Mannequin Cat, but also, nowadays, he switched over to the Melfi package. Melfi Catty, Melfi Penny, Merry Melfis, and Melfi of the Forest. So the 4 cards that give you some really good additional stuff into the Kashtira matchup. But this is already combined in here. And then we also put the Dimension Shifters on top. Evenly Matched is pretty much becoming somewhat of a staple in this format right now, because Evenly Matched is one of those cards that can just get rid of the entire Tier Elements board, or everything but 1 card, and it doesn't put it to the graveyard where all those cards would be triggering again, and therefore it is a really good option versus that, and I really like it. But he did not only bring that to the Challenger Cup. In Top Cut, he also started playing Exo Sisters, and I do really like that. When you are observing the competition very narrowly, and when you know, next round, I know my opponent, he will be playing Ishizu Telements, you should probably just pick this, because honestly, Telements Ishizu mirror matches can be quite stressful, they can be quite long, And even, especially with the time limit in Challenger Cups, it can be somewhat weird to play those out. And if you just have an option to shut them down completely with Dimensional Fissure, Dimension Shifter, evenly matched, and of course, like, the Exorcister cards in general, which interact with the graveyard moving by the Ishizu cards and also by the Telements cards, I like the decision of just having that as an option to that. I have to say I don't like Exorcister in general, but this is probably somewhat of a good option if you know that you are facing the Ishizu tier deck 100% certainly. And he did not want to disregard the best deck in the room entirely, and therefore he also played some Ishizu tier elements. We see he's maxing out on the Ishizu cards. He is even playing Herald of the Orange Light and Diviner of Herald, and therefore also the Baron de Fleur in the extra deck. Besides that, nothing too crazy. Triple Tactic Talents pretty much got into the format since Ishizu tier elements being in there as well. It's becoming more and more of a staple. DD Crow, of course, too, because it can just basically play around those tier element effects. And then the extra deck, something pretty interesting. I think Jesse Cotton was the first one doing that in one of his winning Master Duel tournaments over in the US, and he played the Zodiac package, and this has become so popular. Basically everybody now is on the Zodiac package, and I do not necessarily understand why exactly, because this doesn't feel good in the mirror match, because why would you turbo into Zeus when you're just triggering all of the opponent's effects with Zeus? And that just feels counterproductive to me, but it is very much in a lot of the decks right now, as it is in the deck of Fansha, who won the 128 player cup by Vince. As we see, he's playing Dryden, he's playing Shakanine, so at least he didn't play the Borbo, but he replaced it with Naturia Exterio that can be summoned out by Cyberstein, so that's a nice little gimmick here in his deck. There is still Sprite Elf in Master Duel allowed, and therefore milling Cyberstein and then going into Sprite Elf later on in the combo just enables you to put that Exterio on top of your end board very easily. So I do like the addition of Cyberstein and Exterio. The only concern I would have is when you are already comboing very long with such a big combo deck, then taking the risk of paying so many life points in a time format like Challenger Cups, where you only have 20 minutes to play out your round, seems very dangerous to me, and I don't know whether I would personally like to take that risk. It worked out perfectly for Fansha though, so definitely kudos to him, shoutouts to him. He made it happen. We have that Forbidden Sign here for the Instant Fusion that will be after the upcoming week. One more week of Instant Fusion in Telements, and after that the card is going to be gone. It's not going to change the dominance of the deck though, because it's just a turbo extra card to Kid Kalos, but nothing that you really need for the engine or anything, so it's probably not going to change a whole lot about the meta game we have, but we are going to see that in the next episode of this next Monday, or yeah, probably next Monday or next Tuesday. We are going to look at all the well-performing lists again from the upcoming week. I will be grinding a lot too. I'm already registered for 4 out of 5 Challenger Cups coming up this week, and I hope that I will also be on the leaderboard next week. That would be the dream scenario, but maybe it's going to be one of you. If you like the content here for the Master Duel Challenger Cups, definitely make sure to, as I said, leave a like to the video, subscribe to the channel, and maybe leave a comment underneath the video as well what you think about the current meta game. I really enjoy talking about it, I really enjoy playing it, and I really enjoy grinding it. I hope you guys are tackling this season as well, and I see as many of you as possible in the finals. See you very soon for more Master Duel action.